over the last decade as technology companies have powered America's economy. Oh my God, what no? What was that? I'm going to be answering a voiceover question that was sent to me on LinkedIn from a subscriber. And the reason why I want to make a video about it is because it made me think a lot about myself around like year 1 and year 2. And I know, given the current state of the voiceover industry with the saturated platforms, agents not taking on as many talents as they did during and before the pandemic, in general, things are different now compared to 2020, 2021, and even 2022. It's harder now to become a voice actor, or rather to get momentum as a voice actor. And so I think that if you're in that position where you're not really sure what to do, I think you might get some insight from this. Hey guys, it's DJ. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing all right. If it's your first time here, welcome. So let me read the question to you, and I'll put it up here on the screen as well so you can see. And I did get his permission. I took away his information, so it's anonymous, but this is what he had to say. I guess I was just wondering if there was anything that I'm missing. Been at it since June of last year, 2024, so about 8 months. And have been gradually making my way onto the pay-to-plays. That's Voice123 and Voices.com. I started out on Fiverr, Upwork, and ACX. ACX is the audiobook audition site for Amazon, and that didn't really go well. I ended up closing my accounts on the Freelance sites and gave up on audiobooks after doing a couple of them. Worst experience so far. Brother, I feel you. I definitely feel you. I've been on Voices for about 6 months or so, and on Voice123 for about half of that. I've been in a couple communities and had some coaching. I feel like I'm still so far behind and I'm not booking because of it. I guess my question is, what should I be doing? I'm not ready, financially or skill-wise, to get a pro demo just yet. That's a very mature decision. I like that you said that. So I can't direct market or search for agents. Should I keep putting in the reps on VDC, Voice123, and keep getting coaching until I start moving the needle? Or is there something else I can be doing to help progress? Okay, guys, let me just preface this again by saying all of this is my opinion. And there are many opinions in this industry, and mine is just one of those many. And I cannot sit here and tell you that my words are the truth. Meaning, I'm not lying to you, but I'm saying like, oh, DJ said this, that's what it's got to be. There are just as many ways to get into voiceover as there are ways to fail at voiceover, I think. And everybody's journey is different. So without knowing any details about this guy personally and what he's done, how many auditions he's done, who he's coached with, what his current demo sounds like, it sounds like it's a DIY, but what it sounds like, without any of that information, I would try to answer as best I can. The first thing I want to address is if you've been at this for 8 months, we'll say 8 months, right? I personally think that's too early to be going on to the pay-to-play sites. And I know there's some people who may hate to hear that, but you're just not good enough to compete. Those sites are competitive sites, and it is a competition because you have to submit auditions, obviously, right? As opposed to Fiverr, where the clients, for the most part, are going to be finding you, right? They'll book you or they'll message you and then they'll book you after they like what they hear. But if I'm talking about pay-to-plays, you're going to be competing against really good people, including me. And I'm not saying that you and I are on the same auditions, but it's possible. So just putting that out there, that you are competing with people like me. That's the first thing. Second thing, you said you ended up closing your freelance accounts, Upwork and Fiverr, and you gave up audiobooks. I'm not really sure why you closed them. Unless you're trying to get like coastal representation in LA or New York, and the agents that you want to get with are like, hey, you better not be on Fiverr. I don't understand why you would close those. There's really no reason to. I mean, I don't see the downside to being on them at your stage in your career. Maybe your rating was just so low that it's like, well, shit, I'll just give the account up. I'm just going to give up and maybe start a new account. I guess that makes sense. But to just close the account, that I don't understand that move. I would still have my Fiverr account if I wasn't in the situation that I'm in career-wise. Before I decided to go for a manager and before I got coastal representation, I had my Fiverr account. I was doing quite well there, and I didn't ever think about giving it up. Also, audiobooks. Guys, I mentioned in another video that audiobooks require a certain type of person. I have only done one audiobook in my entire voiceover career, and it was my fourth voiceover job. And it was a 4-hour book, well, 3.5 technically. And it took me about 18 total working hours to do it. I was inexperienced. I didn't know how to do my software. I didn't know how to punch and roll. And it was when you make a mistake and you reverse or go back and re-record over the mistake and fix it. I didn't know how to get the same audio quality every time I punched and rolled. Or different recording days. So if I recorded on Tuesday and then go to make a revision on Thursday, the audio would sound different. And I didn't know why. It was a terrible experience and I wanted to throw up. It was so terrible. If you gave up ACX and you sound like you had a bad experience on audiobooks, I'd be interested to hear what exactly happened to you. But that wouldn't be the first time I heard somebody say that they didn't like doing audiobooks. So if you feel like audiobooks, man, hey, that's you. I'm not ragging on anybody who likes it. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just simply giving my opinion here. I have been on a couple communities. I'm gonna be frank. I did not touch any voiceover communities. I find voiceover communities are only good for a few things. 1, self-promotion. 2, trying to meet other voice actors and establish a relationship and network and stuff, which is nice. It's not necessary, but it's nice. Or 3, it's an echo chamber of negativity. There are only a handful of communities that maintain a generally positive vibe, but a lot of these places are just places to complain. That's it. And it's not constructive to keeping you positive and level-headed in this industry. Those 2 things are really necessary. I think to be successful is to have an unrelenting self-confidence and positivity. You know, it's January 15th. I have only booked a few jobs this month. And I know that sounds like champagne problems, but, you know, it's like halfway through the month, I'm like, where are the jobs at? And my wife had to calm me down and say, hey, it was New Year. Like the first week was a wash. So if you really only been at this for a week, okay, we're doing okay. Even somebody at my level, I'm feeling that kind of, oh shit, feeling. So, you don't need anything else contributing to that in the form of negative comments and people complaining about Fiverr and complaining about clients and complaining about how they submitted 10 auditions and didn't book anything and now they're angry. Or I sent out 30 emails and nobody's booked a job with me. Like all those things are just negative and not constructive. As far as coaching, during the pandemic, many voice actors who were unprepared to record from home suddenly had to figure it out. And it was a whole new economy where Fiverr and Upwork and Voices.com and Voice123 were taking a lot of the work from people who were relying strictly on their agents to get them work. And now those voice actors are now stuck at home. And the agent's like, oh, we're stuck at home too. I don't know, man. Sorry, I don't have anything for you. So they were like, oh shit, now I got to get a home studio. And so while they're trying to get used to working from home, which they've never had to do before, a lot of them decided to coach because they have more experience and they see this glut of new people coming into the industry during the pandemic to say, I want to become a voice actor. So everybody who had some experience in voice acting suddenly called themselves a coach. And what that did was flooded the economy, the voiceover economy, with a bunch of subpar coaches. And I can say that now as somebody who has had coaching with the top of the industry. I only coach with top people. I don't waste my time with people. I'm not putting them down like that. I'm just saying I don't waste my time with somebody who doesn't have a proven track record. It's a waste of my time and it's a waste of my money. And so I know this now, what a good coach looks like. And I can see that there's people coaching and I'm just like, what? You're a coach? I'm literally like, that's what I'm like, you're a coach? I have a whole video about how to vet a coach. I'll link it up here. There's questions you need to ask yourself and the coach to make sure they're a good fit for you because coaching is expensive and you don't want to waste money on somebody who is just going to sit there and applaud your shitty efforts and then take your money and then disappear. I guess 8 months in is okay to go for one-on-one coaching, but even at that point, I would still be looking at maybe some workshops. And on the topic of coaching, guys, make sure you're getting coaching from somebody who is an expert at the genre that you're trying to coach in. So if you're trying to get into commercial, don't coach with somebody whose specialty is animation and video games. Yes, they've done a few commercials, but that does not make them a commercial coach. Commercial reads are very, very different than animation and video games. And anybody who says otherwise doesn't really understand commercial. You got to vet these coaches, man. Make sure you go coaching from somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about. When it comes to acting, it's a journey of self-discovery. And the coach is almost like a therapist in that A therapist is supposed to ask you questions to help you arrive at the solution yourself. All right? That's the journey of self-realization and actualization. A voiceover coach is similar in that they're not there to break you and like break you down and rebuild you in their image. A good coach will see what you bring to the table, your unique point of view, your background, your story, and they will use techniques to tease out reads from you, if it's in commercial, for example, but they should also be helping you settle into who you are, all right, and accentuate the things that make you you. I made a mistake with this a long time ago. Back in 2022, I got a coach that people raved about, and I went to coach with him, and this guy was trying to make me sound basically like a mini version of him. And it broke me for a while, meaning it broke my reads because it became very unauthentic. I can go on and on and on about it. I feel like I'm so far behind and I'm not booking because of it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been at this for 5 years. I still feel behind sometimes, even though I'm with top representation, even though I have booked some really good jobs, but it's imposter syndrome. I'm trying not to be presumptuous here and say that your auditions are good or bad, but be careful not to be your worst critic, and because there's already enough of the people out there to criticize you negatively. Don't do it to yourself, okay? If you think you're not good enough, of course, coaching, workshops, self-training, but yeah, I'm not really sure if you would say you're so far behind. You're already 8 months in, which is still 8 months further than the person who hasn't even decided to get behind the microphone yet. I'm not ready for a pro demo. You're not ready for a pro demo. The fact that you're asking these questions lets me know that you're not ready for a pro demo. A pro demo has one true purpose. And the argument could be made that there are other purposes, but the one true purpose for a pro demo is to land representation, especially in LA and New York. Regional agents also, you would want a pro demo, but they're a bit more lenient. Like if you've recorded some spots and you want to compile them into a self-made demo, it's not DIY, it's just real commercials that you just put into a 1-minute clip. That is something that regional agents don't have a problem with. If you're direct marketing, you don't need a pro demo either. I direct marketed for a long time with just a compilation of stuff that I recorded from jobs that were done on Fiverr and Upwork. It's only for if you're going to get coastal representation. Again, I don't know anything about your auditions or what work you've done, so I can't speak on your direct marketing. Should you look for agents? I think you could look for an agent. I think a local agent is a good place to start. That'll at least get you exposure to some real jobs and let you build a self-made demo. I wouldn't go national. Don't touch it. Don't touch New York. Don't touch LA. Don't touch Chicago. Don't touch Atlanta. Of course, I say don't, but you're going to do what you want to do. Should I keep putting in the reps on voices.com, voice123? For those two, I would love to know what tier of membership you have. On Voice123, in my experience, out of all of the tiers that you can go to, the real value doesn't come until about $888 level. I'm currently at the $2,200 level, and I was at $888 for a whole year before I upgraded. And there's a noticeable difference in the quality of auditions. It's a noticeable difference in the competition, meaning I get the audition when there's nobody there. Whereas when I was at $888 and especially at $395 tier, it was already fucking full. Like I got the audition and it was already full. And I'm like, okay, well, damn. Same thing with voice.com. Like even if you pay the membership fee, which I believe is $500, like again, you're going to get the audition and at your level, it'll probably take you 10 to 15 minutes to record an audition. By the time you open that thing, get the script, download it, open your software, start recording, edit, and then export the audio to upload, there's already going to be like 50 to 100 people who have already submitted. That's how fast these people are. We're very good. We're very efficient. We're very fast. If you've already paid for the membership on Voice123 and Voice.com, keep going till the membership is over, but don't throw any more money at it. And this is maybe a controversial take, but get off of those pay-to-plays. Any money that you save, I wouldn't go to coaching. I would go to workshops for commercial, if that's what we're talking about here. Also, every Tuesday at 7 p.m., I think it is. Don't quote me on that. Look for something called the Voiceover Roundtable. That's the name of a Clubhouse group. And every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, they invite a casting director, an agent, or a voiceover coach to come on there and talk for a while. And then they'll let people do live reads for the casting director or agent. And then they'll give feedback. Even if you don't get a chance to read, it's just like being in a workshop as an auditor. Even if you don't get a chance to be an active participant in a workshop, just hearing people's reads while you also have the script, you can do your read and compare, and then the feedback that the agent gives or the casting director or agent gives to the talent, you can be like, I didn't think about that. Oh, she made the same mistake I did. Oh, he went up there, but I wouldn't have done that. But the casting director liked that. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's so much free information to get that I wouldn't even touch private coaching right now. Many of us, when we're starting out, we've been at this for 6 months, a year, and we're just kind of doing our thing. We think we're better than we actually are. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because I'm about to show you my old auditions from like 2022 and show you just how bad I was compared to now. And I thought I was hot shit. I thought I was hot shit, man. But no, that is not the case. I'll show you one of my old auditions from Voice 123. So as you can see, this was posted February 23rd, 2021. And I submitted an audition for this. I'm gonna let you listen to my audition. I'm gonna read the audition script now with me the way I am today. And then I'm gonna let you listen to what I submitted back then. And then you're gonna see, holy shit, what was that? It's embarrassing to even, I went back and listened to it and like, oh my God. And you'll see why I say that we think we're better than we are early on in the game. So here's the script. Over the last decade, as technology companies have powered America's economy, policymakers in Washington have been busy playing politics with American tech. But today, the numbers are in, and the majority of Americans stand with American tech and oppose efforts to break up our strongest industry. American tech delivers the products and services we count on to stay safer and more connected than ever. The American people stand with American tech. It's time for Washington to do the same. So I have not read this because it's the first time reading it since 2021. But yeah, that's my read for that right now. Let's take a listen to what I submitted and see what the difference is. Over the last decade, as technology companies have powered America's economy, policymakers in Washington have been playing politics with American tech. But today, the numbers are in, and the majority of Americans stand with American tech and oppose efforts to break up our strongest industry. American tech delivers the products and services we count on to stay safer and more connected than ever. The American people stand with American tech. It's time for Washington to do the same. Oh my God, what no? What was that? That was absolutely terrible. Oh my God. Oh, I cringe even hearing it. I completely went against the spec. It said they do not want a negative tone, and I was straight negative. And I was yelling for some reason and angry, and I don't know. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. So, when I submitted that, I felt really good about it. I'm pretty sure I did because I submitted it. And as you can see, it was shit. I did not book that job. Guys, we think we're better than we actually are. And until you have received enough coaching and have trained and listened to commercials and have read commercials, and until you've done all of the hours that you need to put into this industry, you're gonna be not that good. You'll know when you've arrived. It'll be a sense where when any script that comes in front of you, you kind of know what to do with it. And you feel comfortable not necessarily putting on a fake voice, like what I did in that audition where I'm like, policymakers and you. I don't talk like that ever to anybody. I don't even know where that came from. But I did it because I thought that's what they wanted. The confidence or the good read comes when you're confident in who you are. And even if who you are has a bunch of upspeak and like, yeah, I talk like this and I do this and I do that, you should feel comfortable submitting that. Even if the client doesn't pick you, at least you know at the end of the day, You gave them who you are, your unique point of view. It just takes time. It takes time. The ones who succeed at this are the ones who reach the 10,000 hours, the proverbial 10,000 hours of expertise. Whoever reaches that first wins. Okay, and that's how many hours I've put in, more than 10,000 actually, over the last 5 years. It takes that. And if you're not willing to put in those hours to do that work, and you're just waiting for things to happen, being passive, hoping somebody sends you an audition, hoping somebody books you, hoping somebody places an order on Fiverr based off of what you have in your demos, you're in for a rude awakening, because this industry is so competitive, man. And I have been shortlisted on so many jobs in my career that I thought I should have been on that spot, man. And I lost, man. And when I listened to the real spot, whoever booked the job, they were just as good as I was. It was simply not in the cards. And that's the part that many people have a problem with, and they lose their confidence is, you can give the best read ever, man. But if the client doesn't pick you, they don't pick you. You could have given the best read. You could have been fucking Shakespeare himself. The client could easily go with somebody else who you think is not as good as you. However, if you submit an audition and you question like, I don't know how I feel about that read. That didn't really sound that good. Then you're not there yet. You need to put in more hours. I have a whole video about how to improve for free, 5 different ways. I'm gonna put the video up here. Check it out, guys. Put in the work. Put in the work. It's not easy, okay? And where you're at right now, dude, like you're there. You're so much further ahead than a lot of other people who haven't even decided to get coaching yet, or to be on voice.com or Fiverr or anything. It's just, don't lose confidence, man. Just keep going. And if you have any other questions, drop it in the comments down below and I'll try my best to answer them. But this industry is just straight work and a little bit of luck.